Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. Right now we're going to have Game 2 of the Best of 2 series between Bora Dota and Next Level Badasses. As for your casters, I'm Grannis V, and once again I'll be joined by Mike Loris.
So that game number one, that was fairly 322, I want to say. Bora Dota, they had such a great start. Like, it was looking so great for them for the first 15-ish minutes of the game. Like, they were getting picks where it mattered. They had some beautiful setups. Their sun strikes were on point. But then they just kind of just collapsed. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, the team fights just kind of crumbled out from under them. There was, I don't know, very little to analyze there. It just kind of all fell apart. They weren't able to really coordinate things. You had the Invoker going in on one side, then the rest of the team was going over here, they'd get caught out, and just one by one they'd get picked off throughout a team fight. And, well, I mean, if you can even call it that, it wasn't really a 5-on-5 engagement, it was more like a 5-on-1 with a 5-on-2, and then the rest of the people get picked off. So yeah, in the end, a very awkward and I don't know, quite hilarious game if you think about it. I don't know, just really hard to analyze. But this draft is going on, and well, enough about game one. Here's game two. As far as the picks, we have a first pick Shadow Shaman, which is looking pretty familiar or similar to last game, and Bora Dota responded with the Doom and Tidehunter, and Death Prophet is picked up by Next Level Badasses. It was left in the pool, and well, this game we're not going to be seeing the Viper Razors. They were banned out.
For Dota, they lost so many team fights in the last game. This time, they're not going to let that happen. Like, they got Doom and Tidehunter. If they lose team fights, it's either going to be because they royally screw up with these two heroes, or because they're just so far behind to begin with. But with the Ravage and the Doom versus Death Prophet Shadow Shaman, you should have those team fights pretty much on lockdown. But Next Level Badasses, the way they're going to approach this game is going to be with a lot of pushing. So this game should be very different from the last, I would say. Death Prophet Shadow Shaman with the ban on the Tinker. Next Level Badasses are prepping themselves up for a pretty vicious push. And if they can shut down the Blink Dagger from Tidehunter, they're going to be very happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see potentially a Venomancer pick from Next Level Badasses. I think it would work decently well with them, especially if you get boots on the Venomancer. That could also be a pretty decent support comboed with the Shadow Shaman. A hero that we don't see very often. I don't know. Would offer them some damage in the team fights as well as just some more push, as well as a really easy way to cancel the Blink Daggers. As far as the next pick, for Bora Dota, they invest even heavier into the team fights with a Sand King pickup for themselves. Sand King, a hero that you kind of want to pick up whenever you think that the enemy team is not going to put very much pressure on the lanes, so you're able to get a really fast Blink Dagger. You can get it at 9 minutes or so if you're effectively using your jungle, which I definitely think that Bora Dota can do. For now, I think Next Level Badasses are kind of open to just picking support that could allow the Shadow Shaman to go fairly aggressive around the map. Earthshaker, potentially like last game, or maybe even a Skywrath Mage, which is still in the pool, surprisingly.
You mentioned Venomancer before. I would have liked to see him picked up by anyone like Bora Dota for the counter push or Next Level Badasses for the push. Those Plague Wards give you a lot of value. They're going to go for a Wraith King, however, which I want to say is going to be a support for now. Partner with Shadow Shaman, it doesn't get much better than that. But Bora Dota with the Sand King pickup, you're right. He's probably mostly going to be in the jungle for the most part. But when the shit does hit the fan, when they have to fight, they're going to be working with 3 melee heroes versus the Death Prophet. And unless they have their Blink Daggers early on, that's not going to be great times for them because you're going to have to go through the Wraith King, Shadow Shaman. So that's a lot of stuff to go through to get to the Death Prophet. And Death Prophet also has a lot of movement speed. So for Dota, they're going to have to burst down this Death Prophet. And if they don't, the Exorcism Spirits are just going to eat them alive. They go for a Lich as their 4th pick. So they are definitely not going to lose any team fights anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know. The Lich is okay here, although I would have liked to see something that could offer a little bit more when you're roaming around in the other lanes and potentially get some kills. But for now, the passive style coming out from the Lich, as well as, I think most importantly, this game, the extra armor on the towers up against the Shadow Shaman Death Prophet. But even with the ice armor on a tower, it's still going to fall just incredibly fast, especially now that Next Level Badasses go ahead and pick up the Pugna.
Yeah, so they're going to be going deep into this pushing comp. The Nether Ward is going to hit pretty much everyone from before Dota really hard, and they last pick a Shadow Fiend. It has a good amount of AoE, could pull the aggro off, and is at the very least a ranged hero, but he's extremely fragile. This lineup for Bora Dota is fairly greedy. I don't know if they have what it takes to withstand this push from Next Level Badasses, especially if they final pick something like that Venomancer that we were talking about before. The push from Next Level Badasses is going to be really intense.
Yeah, I don't know if they pick up the Venomancer. I'm not sure exactly how they'd lane it, but I'd like to see maybe an aggressive tri lane coming out from them, whether the Pugna's the core of that or the Venomancer, and then leave the other one solo up against the Doom. You'd probably have the Pugna in the tri lane, as I think that Veno fares better up against the Doom than the Pugna, but both of them could solo fairly well.
Yeah, they could also go for a different route and just get initiation so that they could hopefully take the fight behind Dota's towers. Like if they catch a Sand King when he's trying to hide, or catch a Shadow Fiend when he is not aware and he's not ready with his BKB or something like that. So something like a Clockwork wouldn't be too terrible. I mean, that's kind of the reason why Dota banned out the Bat Rider for their fourth ban, because they didn't want something like that to happen. So something as far as the initiation route is concerned could be beneficial for next level badasses, but really, I think they're going to be okay in this game as so long as Bora Dota don't get a couple of early game pickoffs. If they shut down the Death Prophet and Pugna, then their Shadow Fiend is going to run away with this game, and it's going to be a Timbersaw. Very interesting pickup from them.
Yeah, I don't know. The Timbersaw is not something that I was expecting, but I mean, when you look at Borodota's lineup, they have 3 strength melee heroes that this Timbersaw can eat through very effectively, and the Shadow Shaman and Lich are not really an exception when you think about it. I mean, the Shadow Fiend, or yeah, not the Shadow Shaman, excuse me, but the Shadow Fiend, once he gets a BKB, can be immune against that. But yeah, the Timbersaw, if he's able to get off to a good start, which up against the lane from Borodota, he probably will be able to. I don't know, it could work out for them. I was thinking more along the lines of like a Centaur for them, but I don't know, we'll have to see how it works. Is on the Radiant side, it is going to be next level badasses who took game 1 with Disembody playing on the Pugna. McCoy's racist grandpa going to be playing on the Shadow Shaman 5th, going to be taking up the Timbersaw DVG, going to be playing on the Death Prophet, which will leave Yurgity playing on the Wraith King.
These look like dual lanes coming out from Dota. I'll talk about that after I go over who's playing what, because we have Tidehunter going to be running into this smoke from next level badasses. Unfortunately, for the Radiant, they have no disable in range, so they have to let Nico get away. He's going to be supported right now, at least, by Cass's Lich. Might rotate up top, might not. Dead is going to be playing the mid lane Shadow Fiend. The Forsaken up top is going to be playing the Doom, and Aquino going to be supporting as the Sand King. But the large weakness of having all these melee heroes is that you have a disadvantage in lane. With dual lanes, I mean, the bottom lane is going to be a little bit better because of this Lich, but still this Tidehunter Lich combination is not going to be enough to completely shut down this Timbersaw. Anchor Smash is going to hurt a lot because Timbersaw doesn't have any physical, but I don't think it's the best move because up on top, the Doom is going to be going 1v3, and there's no way in hell he does well in this lane.
Yeah, he's probably going to be forced back into the jungle, but that's where the Sand King's going to be chilling as well. He'll try to get as much experience as possible, but if he shows his face and tries to get some CS, he's going to be liable to give up first blood or maybe some kills after that if he keeps on showing up. So I don't know, it's very awkward, I would say. Timbersaw solo versus a Tidehunter is an interesting lane that I'd say Timbersaw wins, but not by a huge margin, and the Lich is more or less just going to be denying some experience as well as stacking Ancients for the Tide. Yeah, not a huge fan of this choice. I think putting him up there with the Doom would suit them better, and maybe they'll make that rotation a little bit later on. For now, Doom devours himself up the Dark Troll Summoner, although not the best creep. It's okay for jungling. I don't know, at the very least gets himself a little bit of gold that way. Which is going to make sure that Doom doesn't fall incredibly behind as long as he's able to not die.
Something that Dota are going to have working for themselves, and it's going to help a lot, is the fact that Lich is going to be stacking up these Ancients. If Tidehunter gets the solo experience, which he is getting currently, and he does have that backup Ancient stack in addition to that, he's going to be sitting very pretty. He should be getting his Blink Dagger very swiftly, assuming he doesn't get roamed upon, which, seeing as the next level badass supports are up on top lane, this Tidehunter should have a relatively easy time. He's going to go to town on 25th. Fortunately, he can't get the kill just yet, but he's securing this lane for himself. And if Lich just relies purely on sacrificing to get himself experience and those Ancients down the line, Dota, they're going to be okay with how these lanes are working out, with the exception, of course, of top, because top, they're going to be getting nothing.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of the X factor of the Sand King, whether or not this laning situation for them is going to work out. As long as Doom doesn't die, I think they'll be okay, as long as they're able to secure themselves Blinks and or Mechanism for the Tidehunter and the Sand King, respectively. Timbersaw actually taking a lot of frass down in bottom, but so is the Tidehunter. There's a salve on 25th. He will also clarity up. And Titan's almost out of regen, so for now
Top
it's
lane.
fairly even. But yeah, they're going to find out the Doom. He's going to be stunned up, but they don't have the follow-up. He went for Ether Shock and already used the Shackles, so that's going to be it.
Pugna in an aggressive tri-lane doesn't actually do that much until he gets more levels when he can actually push. Until that happens, level 1 Nether Blast, it's 100 damage nuke. It's nothing to write home about. So he has pretty good base damage, but unfortunately not enough to kill Doom because he has Stout Shield and Ringer Protection, and of course he's just inherently very tanky hero. Killing off that Doom is going to be very, very difficult for the next level Badass's side, but yeah, going back to that bottom lane, it's going very well for Nico because he does physical damage. And usually Timbersaw is okay with physical damage because that means he's going to get a lot more in the reactive armor. But the Tidehunter physical damage is spell-based, so he doesn't actually proc that reactive armor, which means Timbersaw, if he does try to get into a duel with that Tide, he's going to end up losing. Even though he does have 2 points in Whirling Death, he simply cannot compete with Anchor Smash.
Yeah, so in the end, Lich has not showed his face in lane at all, does have level 2. Up in top, we might have a go, but for now, they're just going to put a little bit of damage on the tower. It's pretty much negligible. It's with only level 1 blast. They're not even going to use that. And yeah, put about 50 onto the tower.
In mid lane, proceeding as the even matchup, kind of as predicted in this particular game. Letting the Shadow Feed in get this much space could cost next level Badasses quite a bit down the road, but at the same token, they Bora Dota side are giving the Death Prophet a complete free lane. Forsaken up on top is going to be the victim of a very extensive mining operation. Yurgity, he's going to jump forward with that Nether Blast doing a lot of damage. That Decrepify chunking down Forsaken so hard, and now they're going to get the first blood onto Doom. Yurgity, one too many tower shots perhaps. He's going to be just fine. Everything for the next level of Badasses lined up in the Decrepify. That was as good as it gets for them.
Yeah, I don't know. Would have been possible without a very awkward tree pathing there, but I don't know. The Doom didn't expect that, so in the end it worked out, and they secured themselves the first blood, and almost more importantly, they get that on the Pugna. That's not going to be Arcane Boots on this lane. Once he has the level 3 Pugna Blast, there's going to be very little that Bora Dota are able to do as they're looking for the kill onto the Timbersaw with the Lich rotating in. They get another Anchor Smash right clicks. Will they be enough? Reactive armor, Timber Chain away. I don't think he's going to survive, or will he? I don't know. He's regening up enough. I think he's just going to get collapsed. He's running towards the north, and in the end, trying to save the kill for his carry, but no, Lich secures it with the Frost Blast. So now level 3 on the Lich, and each offlaner, or I don't know if you can call him that, the Doom's pretty much solo safe lane, has given up a kill.
Where the hell is that Timbersaw going? He was home free. He could have just walked straight line towards his base, but he decided to die, and now DVG in the mid lane. One raise was missed by Dead, and it looks like that will be enough to let that Death Prophet get away. But still, seriously, Timbersaw, just run to your base. I don't know, he was trying to be just way too cute about it, and he gave up that kill where he should have survived. He's going to try to go once again on this Tidehunter, but Tide has Ravage this time, so Timbersaw has really got to watch himself in that bottom lane. Meantime, top lane, level 2 blast still only on Pugna. The full-on aggressive tri-lane, although it did get one kill, means that the Pugna is not going to be benefiting from his supports getting pulls or anything like that, so his levels are going to be, in general, lower than they ordinarily will be. But they will take the tower nonetheless. There's nothing that Forsaken can really do about this.
Yeah, Doom, possibly one of his biggest, I don't know, weaknesses as a hero is that he offers very little to no counter push, and the tier 1 tower is going to be given the way of the Shadow Shaman who picks up that last hit. Level 4 on the Shadow Shaman, as well as almost on the Wraith King and Disembodied, since they've been completely sharing the experience for the most part. But once the Pugna rotates to another lane, and they might be able to get a little bit more out of this map. The Death Prophet does not have Exorcism just yet. 303 is her build, which I think is perfectly fine. Level 1 Exorcism with though. Maxed out Witchcraft is very lackluster. She picks herself up the Phase Boots, and
bottom.
That's it, as they
Bottom
go.
Ravage is committed, plus an Anchor Smash. 25th will use magic charges, keep himself alive, and now he's home free. Please don't turn around unless you're going to try to get a kill on this Tide, who's completely out of mana. Wouldn't mind that, but it looks like Timbersaw does get away alive. In the meantime, Aquino on top lane, not as lucky. He gets pegged with everything. Decrepify not even used, just the sheer burst damage of these 3 roaming heroes going to secure the kill on Sand King. And now DVG going to probably wish he had Exorcism at this point, though he does have a substantial amount of backup waiting in the wings. So Shadow Fiend, if he steps up, he will simply die. But looks like this tri-roam right now from next level Badass is going to dissolve, or at least wait until Bora Dota sends someone else into mid. And well, Shadow Fiend, if he shows his face, he could still be in trouble, even though the next level Badasses are quite far away. I don't really know why they're just jungling right now. They could very aggressively be pushing towers or go kill top.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see them potentially move the Pugna down bottom, and I don't know. You might have the support still roaming, but I think there's enough farm to be had down there, and you might be able to put a little bit more pressure onto the Tidehunter. We have a pause going for the Shadow Fiend for now, but yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Disembody is very low on mana. Has one Arcane Boots charge, so I'll have a couple more blasts to go. But yeah.
I think maybe they just want to get Arcane Boots for the Shadow Shaman. The second pair of Arcane Boots is certainly going to help a lot for Disembody. You get a lot of value out of every single one of those blasts, since now the blast is at level 3. So if they could get that together for the Shadow Shaman plus level 6, then they're going to be very, very happy. But Shadow Shaman's still a little bit away from that. So until that happens, I think they're going to be just waiting to base for Disembody and try to get him to that level 7 mark. And by the time he does get to that level 7 mark, Death Prophet should have at least 1 point next to him. Then they can look to take down the rest of the tier 1 towers. So they're just going to wait for that small amount of time, and then it's go time.
Yeah. Tidehunter currently farming up his ancient stack with level 7. It's really easy for him to do so. He looks for a next stack potentially, but not going to be able to do that. This will secure him enough farm if he wants to go for it. For the mechanism, which I think is going to be his choice, as he has picked up the 2 components. Already had the headdress in his inventory, so that's kind of a giveaway, but in the end, has the buckler completed, and after these last couple of big creeps, we'll have that all finished for his team. And if you look at that and compare it to the Timbersaw, he hasn't really been able to get much. He has the pair of Arcane Boots, which is going to be nice for sustaining, but nowhere near his next big item, presumably a Bloodstone.
Mid lane push is happening, though. The Disembody Pugna still only level 5, but the Exorcism is up, so going to pop those spirits and tell them to stick the tower, and the tower is not going to last very long. That's pretty high commitment for them, but Exorcism is still about halfway there, so he'll blow up this creep wave and then go for a tier 2. Where is the response from Bora Dota? I don't know if they want to sack the tower this early. They do have a Ravage, but Tidehunter unfortunately doesn't have the mana to cast it, so Exorcism will get its complete value on the 2 towers. Will only take down 1 in the end, but still next level badasses can wait, rearm, and then go for the exact same thing as soon as that Exorcism is up again. And it'll be stronger next time because Witchcraft should be maxed out, and then maybe even they have a level 11, though that seems unlikely.
For now, they're just going to back off and push down the bottom lane. As tier 2 tower mid is a little bit riskier to go for, and they will probably wait until Death Prophet has her ultimate backup at the very least, or her next item. We'll have to see. But for now, tier 1 tower down in bottom is about half, and we'll eat a couple of Pugna Blasts before he goes back. He is sitting pretty low and is going to ferry himself out of salve, so doesn't want to waste any time going back to base. Yep, Shadow Fiend. His item choice is going to be Power Treads. Presumably his next item is going to be something along the lines of BKB, but we'll have to see what he's going to go for in the end. Let's just going to pull the Creep Aggro off of the tower, which will delay things for now, but yeah, that's about it.
I really like this move from Disembody, ferrying out the salve. He has 3 sets of Arcane Boots on this bottom lane, so as far as mana sustain is concerned, he pretty much has a Keeper of the Light on his team with all these Arcane Boots, so might as well just keep on plugging away with those Nether Blasts, because he has all the mana in the world. However, here comes a Tide. He'll instantly get hexed up, and Disembody going to lay that ward down. Ravage, though, onto 3, his 25th does get doomed. This is going to be the death of the Timbersaw at the very least. McCoy is going to turn around for a Shackle and a Shock onto Nico. The Blast will hit onto only Cass, however. Disembody now going to get trapped by the Tide body block, and then the single Chain Frost hit is going to get 3 kills for Bora Dota on the bottom lane. The Death Prophet, the Wraith King, nowhere to be found in this engagement.
Yeah, so in the end, with all of their big teamfight ultimate spent, they're going to win a teamfight 3-0. Not that that's surprising, but it started off with a really good Ravage coming up from the Tidehunter. And yeah, they just had enough follow-up in order to do that. Not sure if the Lich ultimate was entirely necessary on the Pugna, but made sure that they didn't have to dive too far and risk giving away a kill. Now the group up is going to come out from NLBA, as they want to push down in this tier 1 tower. They now have pretty much their whole team in force with the exception of the Pugna, which is fairly peculiar. The Sand King might be able to get the jump on him. He doesn't have the Blink Dagger just yet, but does have the boots, and now the level 3 Burst Strike. He's going to catch up a Rage. They're looking for the Epicenter on top, and Disembody is as good as dead here. He was just out way too far. Is down in bottom. They lose the Doom, and now the tier 1 tower also going to die, presumably.
Unfortunately for Bora Dota, the way that they've built this lineup is that they're super reliant on these really high cooldown ultimates. Even though next level badasses did die 3 for nothing in that bottom lane, they find a timing in between those ultimates where there's no Ravage, there's no Epicenter, there's no Doom, there's no Chain Frost, so they could just pretty much just go for whatever they want to at the moment, and really Bora Dota don't have any possible response. So I don't really know why Pugna was up there alone. Seems like a really dumb idea when the rest of the team is going for a push bottom. if Pugna was down here, they could have taken down this tower easy peasy, and they, of course, wouldn't have lost to Pugna either. But Sand King, with that kill, now does have his Blink Dagger completed. He's going to jump forward, look for a Burrow Strike. He'll instantly get hexed and stunned. Can they kill off Aquino? Yes, they can. Sand King fighting off way more than he could chew. And that should be it. Next level badasses get to retreat in peace.
Yeah, in the end, he just hesitated too much with that Burrow Strike. He had several targets that he could go for, but he wasn't able to find the perfect one. In the end, blinking into 4 heroes generally doesn't end out very good for you unless you have the Burrow Strike lined up perfectly. So in the end, that's going to be it. They defended the tower but gave away one more kill, tying up the kill score quite evenly. But Bora Dota have not been able to transition any of their pickoffs into any significant tower damage of their own. Tier 1 tower up on top is not looking too healthy, but Pugna might be caught out alone as well. He's going to eat one raise, his body's going to eat another one, and well, with the haste rune dead, should be able to get that kill very easily. 3 raises equal dead Pugna.
I could kind of understand where Pugna is coming from. Like, he wants to get the mech, he wants to get the maxed out Nether Blast, which he just barely got before he died. But he died twice going up to that top lane. Like, at this point, it should be really clear that if you go out alone as Pugna, you will die. Like, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. If he was with his team again, he would have gotten the level 7 probably a little bit delayed, but at the very least, he would have gotten his mech up, and, well, it would have been 2 fewer kills for Bora Dota. So this Pugna has really got to stop going off on his own. Like, he's not playing Ricky anymore. He can't afford to be doing that.
Yeah, he really can't. I mean, honestly, that kill wouldn't have happened if the haste rune wasn't on the SF. But I think that was known beforehand, and had he just had one hero behind him, if he had the Sand King there, he wouldn't have needed that at all, and still not a safe place for Pugna to be pushing out without any ward vision in the vicinity. Had they had ward here, maybe I can see him pushing that out safely, but in the end, it looks like Death Prophet's gonna get caught out. He's gonna run straight into Tidehunter Gush. What was he doing there?
He thought that he was tanky enough so that Shadow Shaman and Timbersaw can wrap around. Meantime, top lane, though, Urgity gonna go to town onto Dead, land the blast, and we'll stun him through the raise. So Shadow Fiend will go down as he does the exact same thing Disembody was doing, but yeah, Death Prophet thought that he could survive those 2 heroes long enough for the Timbersaw and the Shadow Shaman to rotate in. Unfortunately, he obviously can't. He just got 100 to 0'd so quickly he couldn't even Eul Scepter himself, so bad play from the Death Prophet for sure, but at the same time, bad play from the Shadow Fiend, getting caught up on top.
Yeah, so it's not going to be the worst. Still a fairly even trade across the map. And Shadow Fiend, his next item has been a Blink Dagger, and I'm pretty torn about Blink on Shadow Fiend. I think getting the BKB is usually going to help you better if you're not going to go for that and want to go for something a little greedier. Maybe go for the Blink. They jump in with Yurgi. He's going to be able to stun up the Doom, but doesn't do a lot of damage. Now the next TP is a little too late. Chakram going to miss onto the Tidehunter, and in the end, I think everybody's going to be okay with the Scorched Earth movement speed. There's going to be a secondary stun onto Forsaken, but now the Ravage catches out too. They're going to clean up the Wraith King. Didn't have his ultimate. Now the Doom on the Death Prophet before she gets Exorcism off. Don't think they'll be able to secure that kill, and she should be just fine. So potentially wasted Doom, but I don't know. In the end, going to be a very awkward engage.
They still have to worry about this Chain Frost, but now's that timing I talked about where the Doom is down, the Ravage is down, and they only lose the Wraith King. So now is their time to push, because the Death Prophet, though she did get doomed, she didn't get hit. She didn't use the Exorcism beforehand, which this time is going to work out pretty well for them. They're going to go for Forsaken now, going to catch him in the Chakram and the Shackle and the magic damage. Doom is going to get demolished. They have to worry about a blinking Epicenter from the Sand King, but Sand King is nowhere to be found. This should be a free tier 2 tower for the next level badass side. They're even going to use this Exorcism for it, as Cass does jump in for a Chain Frost, but Timbersaw going to make sure he doesn't get out scot-free. Timbersaw is going to drop from this. Yes, the Lich does get something. So it was okay, I guess, for the Lich, but again, now the Chain Frost is on cooldown. Disembody, though he's completely out of mana at this moment, they could look for even more tier 2 towers if they want to go up top.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend, he's been pushing out this lane, did get the tier 1 tower, now gonna get half damage on the tier 2. There's no TPs to really punish this, and he had a Blink Dagger, so probably would have been safe even if they attempted. Oh my goodness, I just timed out from the server. So I suppose I'll try to get in. I think that's going to be paused because it more than likely kicked everybody else. I don't know, that's awkward.
It was going too well. Things are going too well, and Dota was like, wait, who's casting this game? We can't have this happen.
Well, we're back in. The game is paused, so it doesn't look like we missed anything. All the players were out. Hopefully somebody was in there, so not a whole lot happened, but just waiting on the Timbersaw now, so that's good.
All right. It's good to know that it wasn't just us.
Yeah. For sure. I don't know, that would be terrible. Like just two casters randomly drop out. Um, so yeah, Timbersaw. After dying up top, that is unfortunate. It looks like that pause came out very quickly. Or actually, no, their hero models are stuck on my screen where they died. That is very
Yeah.
peculiar.
Gravestones, the newest Dota feature, Dota Graves. Let's see if they actually disappear. It might disappear when we unpause.
Oh, there you go.
And
Another
there they
death
go.
animation. Yeah. Yep. Timbersaw, he's working towards his bloodstone. Is actually not that far away from it. I don't know, about 1,000 gold or so. Yeah, which isn't a bad timing at all for your Timbersaw, especially since his laning stage early on didn't go that well, and he just died in additional time. Equino is potentially looking for a jump on mid. He has himself a decent positioning in order to do so, but nobody's there for him to spot out, and they don't have ward vision. The courier is currently flying something towards the Timbersaw. It looks like he's just taking it on the mission to buy the next components towards his bloodstone. Probably going to be... Yeah. Wait. He bought a, energy booster. Not a huge fan of that choice coming from the Timbersaw. I think disassembling arcane boots is just a lot better. I don't know. What's going on?
What's done is done. So wait, is this still on the courier?
Yeah, he didn't give it to
Yeah.
himself. That was obviously a mistake. He didn't plan on doing that.
You done goofed 25th, and still next level badasses. They are in a little bit of trouble because the timing that I was talking about, that is pretty much dried up. All these spells are almost going to be on cooldown. Really, Ravage is what you really want to have happen because the epicenter up from the high ground is going to be huge once Aquino starts to use that. Doom is on the bottom lane doing his own thing, so I mean, Bora Dota, their team fight is really strong, but they need good positioning. Here we go. Epicenter going to be channeled with a one-man Burrow plus a three-man Ravage. That's instantly one down. That's instantly two down. Timbersaw is going to come in, but it's a little bit too late. DVG on his way out is going to pop up jump charges really quick as that Death Prophet, even through the gush, is at moving max movement speed with the items she has. But use two ultimates in order to take two heroes. Is that worth it? If they get 25th, then it certainly will be. And I don't think 25th can withstand this physical from this Shadow Fiend. No, he will not be able to. Where is Pugna throughout all of this? They could have really used another ward, but ultimately, Bora Dota, they used their team fight advantage to win a really nice, clean team fight, and they will finally take something off this team fight in the Tier 1 tower.
Yeah, so all said and done, Bora Dota getting a pretty convincing win. The Doom and the Pugna were just kind of standing off in bottom. No Doom was expended, although Pugna had the Blink Dagger come out just a little bit sooner for the Doom. He might have been in trouble, but they'll start with the Wraithfire Blast after the Decrepify, disjointed by Forsaken, and he'll be just fine.
Yeah, so this Pugna's kind of been playing by his own rules this entire game. Next level badasses, though, they do have a really vicious pushing comp. They've kind of just stopped pushing. Like, they should be looking to pressure high grounds, though. They have to respect this team fight, and now they're going to have another team fight as 25th does get brush struck by Aquino, Gush down, and Frost Blast. 25th drops very low very quickly. He's going to pop the 6 charges, and the Chain Frost will actually interrupt his chain away. Jurgen's going to get the rest of that Chain Frost. They do get a nice Ward Trap onto Forsaken, though Disembody, plus the Racist Grandpa getting hit with a huge Requiem from Dead. The Exorcism is going to be flown up into the air. Death Prophet trying to survive, but that's not going to happen. The Serpent Ward's a little bit too far away. Jurgen going to respond and actually miscue and get the stun off on the Lich instead. He's not going to get the stun on Lich. He gets it onto the Shadow Fiend. Lich does die in the end because I think she got zapped by another ward. But Bora Dota, they take a really nice team fight, though it wasn't as clean as it really should be. Next level badasses, they have all this tower advantage, or they had all the tower advantage, but they're slowly losing it.
Yeah. Not that it makes that team fight in the favor of next level badasses, but in the midst of that, Bora Dota did lose their courier. Had nothing on it, but still a little bit extra gold towards next level badasses, so not going to be all over for them. They are going to lose their tier 1 tower, and slowly but surely the gold is going to trickle back in the favor of Bora Dota, and they probably already have an advantage. And well, if you look at the graphs, it is going to be probably about a 7,000 gold advantage after the graph completely updates, but right now, probably seeing about 6,000, and the experience vastly in their favor at 12,000. I don't know. They've been putting these teamfight ultimates to good use, and although next level badasses were able to get some very early towers, the only tier 2 tower remaining is in the top lane. But yeah, they haven't really been able to transfer that into a high ground push, and they've died too many times to the teamfight power coming out from Bora Dota.
And they have to respect that team fight at all times, because every single person on Bora Dota has one of those huge, big team fight ultimates. Now, an opening on Lich would be really nice, but unfortunately, Shadow Shaman does not have that initiating power, doesn't have a Blink Dagger, Force Staff, or anything of the like. He's going for an Aghanims, and he will not have that for a very long time because he's died so many times since these towers have been cleared out. Next level badasses, their late game is the Death Prophet, which is usually okay, but I don't know if it's going to be great because the Shadow Fiend is on the other end and he's getting a very easy time. And then, of course, you have to worry about Doom from Forsaken. So next level badasses, their late game is on one hero, and when you have one really big hero in the late game, Doom is going to enjoy himself.
Yeah. I don't know, especially when you have a Shadow Fiend backed up by the initiation from a Tidehunter Sand King. We have a smoke coming out from next level badasses. They're going to look for somebody, but in the end, I don't think they're going to find it, or will they? They're going to get eyes on the Tidehunter, yields himself up into the air. The silence is going to catch at the Doom, but he's going to set up for Ravage on 4 heroes. Where's the follow-up for that? They will stun up the Tidehunter after 4-staffing away, and they're looking for more as the Doom blinks in the epicenter. Bro Strike going to be on to 2. Is somebody going to fall very quickly? Now Yurgity also not looking too hot as he doesn't have his ultimate up, and now won't be coming back. 25th caught between 4 enemy heroes. As on the backlines, they're still chasing down this Death Prophet, presumably. No, that's just the Doom damage taking him down. So in the end, 3 for 0 after using a lot of their team fight ultimates. But still, a win for Bora Dota.
That was the most awkward initiation I've ever seen in my life, going after a Tidehunter of all people. First of all, Tidehunter is really tanky. I don't even know if you want to be focusing him in the first place. Second of all, that silence was thrown as soon as she used Yule Scepter, I think to just silence the Doom, but I don't know. I'd rather not get hit with the 4-man Ravage than have Doom get his Doom off, because it's really hard to interrupt Doom casting his ultimate. It's a lot easier to interrupt the Tidehunter in that, but Death Prophet, okay, I don't know how Dead got down here, but now he's completely surrounded, has a BKB, and it's time to use it, I think. He's going to get hexed up and shackled and stunned. Dead. Yeah, you're just dead. You're just going for it, man.
I have no idea what he was doing there. That was very awkward. He wanted that Death Prophet so bad, and he got her, but at the cost of his own life. So probably not worth it for Bora Dota, at least that last, I don't know, overextension, I guess is what you'd call that. I don't know, that was pretty ridiculous. He has a Yasha now on the Shadow Fiend. He's, I don't know, getting a little bit of damage, and just with these items, he still does a whole lot, but if he dies a couple more times, that's going to be problematic for Bora Dota. But for now, they still are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and they should continue to be in the driver's seat until next level badasses get a huge break in the team fight or something. I mean, Tidehunter right now doesn't have a Ravage for another 40 seconds, so they still have to respect the Chain Frost. Epicenter will be up in 30. Doom is up. The Shadow Fiends technically would have a Requiem of Souls if he wasn't in the grave right now, but still, Bora Dota, they're staggering their ultimates enough so that they're getting really crushing team fights, and it's really well played by them. But then they are still kind of active to fight. Really, a Doom right now is all I would think Bora Dota would actually need to take a good fight, especially if they get a pick on Death Prophet. Well, they have Doom in the area with the Lich. I don't know if that's enough damage, especially with backup from next level badasses. DVG is going to get the Exorcism off, plus the Yule Scepter onto Forsaken as he does try to Force Staff his way out, but the Exorcism Spirit's denying his blink, and Forsaken might just burn down here. Yes, he will. Doom trying to TP out, and now Lich in a very awkward position as well. He's hiding, and he might be fine as they're going to go instead for Aquino. He's going to be fine as he just disjoint that stun, but Cass, he's hiding, and it looks like he'll be successful in doing so. But they take out the Doom for free. It's not enough to push off of because they already used their Exorcism and they have to worry about all these big team fight ultimates.
Yeah. I don't know. Shadow Shaman, in fact, is not going to go for the Aghanim Scepter and backs off for the Blink after the point booster. I like this choice coming out from him. I think the point booster probably wasn't entirely necessary, although the extra tank is going to be nice and it's a decent casual item that you'll build into later. But I think just having the instant initiation is going to be very important up against Bora Dota so that you don't have a situation like up top again. I mean, they had the Yules, but the follow-up just wasn't there. Having an instant Blink Hex is really hard to mess up.
Yeah, it's really hard to mess up until you, again, go for the Tidehunter and then his Kraken Shell procs, and then you get hit with a 4-man Ravage. So going for Tidehunter, probably not what you want to do until someone on your team gets a BKB. That's a long way off. They will take a Roshan, what looks like for free. Bora Dota would have had an absolute field day in this Roshan pit. They'll have to deal with another ward, yes, but hey, Roshan, when you have a Tidehunter and a Sand King and a Shadow Fiend and a Lich, that's the dream. Aquino, though, going to get stunned up as he does get a little bit too close. Drained out. He will Force Staff, double Force Staff, in fact, himself away. They have a Ravage, but it looks like they don't want to fight this one out as they do get a 2-man Barrage Strike from Aquino. Now Chain Frost will get instantly pulled away. Horrible luck for Cass. Where is this Tidehunter? He teleported back to base. He's going to leave the rest of his team for dead. Sand King gets silenced. He's going to blink into the trees. Has a TP, has a Force Staff. It looks like he'll try to jump away. It won't happen. Death Prophet will secure the kill here. But here comes Doom. What are you doing, Bora Dota? Forsaken's going to get drained out. This is exactly what happened last time. There's a huge Ravage going to instantly take down 2, and it looks like Doom will barely manage to scrape his way out of there, although 25th still on the chase. Disembody is a little bit too slow. Forsaken should be able to TP out to safety. It looks like Dead is going to clean up everything in the back end. But for Dota, they're still going for it. Disembody gets caught with a gush, and now the jump in from Forsaken get the Doom onto 25th. So this Timbersaw isn't going to Timber Chain anywhere anytime soon. Dead going to work down that Pugnet very easy. Now Forsaken going to try to go toe-to-toe 25th with the Anchor Smash damage. It will be really easy, and the Requiem right on top of that Aegis. For Dota, they take what looked like a really messy team fight and turn it into something decent after a very long exchange. But hey, a win is a win, and I think this is enough to take a Tier 2 tower off of, though everyone is respawning shortly.
Yeah, not sure if they can go straight into the tier 2, but they'll at least be able to put some damage onto it. It is completely full, and they're needing to wait for these creeps. Yeah, they won't have the Pugna if they try to defend against this, but I think they still have the tools that they need to. Especially with no Ravage for 90 seconds, as well as Doom. Similar cooldown at 60. They have the Blink Epicenter, though, which is something that next level badasses need to be scared of. But for now, they're going to jump in with Yurgity. Stuns up Dead, and well, they get the surfboards, but it doesn't trap anybody, and Yurgity's just ripped to shreds by Dead. And now he's just critting like a boss. He's not actually critting, but the damage is feeling like that. I don't know, now he turns on Yurgity again as Timbersaw jumps in. They get the Epicenter, but the Eul Scepter was in the air. In the end, they're still able to kill on the Death Prophet. Now they catch out 24th, and 4 heroes are dead. With the Shadow Fiend just killing everybody. In the end, GG well played, called up by next level badasses.
Unfortunately for next level badasses, they do get some push in this game, but not nearly enough. If they had a Rax at this stage in the game, then they would feel a lot more comfortable, but at a certain point, there's only so much teamfight that you could withstand, and they just withstood it in the worst places at the worst times, and well, that's going to ultimately tie up the series 1-1. Bora Dota lost a couple teamfights in the first game, made damn sure that's not going to happen in the game number 2, and I think it worked.
Yeah, no, I would say it worked. In the end, it just came down to Bora Dota not being able to seal the deal early enough. And, well, after a couple of last team fights, they were kind of on the back foot, and it just went downhill from there. Had they extended this game out, I think Bora Dota would have been able to win. So, although not your most conventional GG, might be a little early, I think it's still warranted. That said, that is going to round us out here for action here on HeflaTV 2. It is a best of 2 series. 1-for-1 is all we're going to get, unfortunately. So, as far as the social media, if you want to follow us and like our casting, you can follow us at HeflaTV on Twitter and Facebook, and the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke. As for your casters, I've been Grandis V, and he's been Mike Loris. Thanks for watching, and GG to both teams.
GG, guys.